Okay, and now for our listening assignment, which is the Brahms Symphony No. 1 in C minor, the last movement. In 1854, when Brahms was 21, he heard Beethoven's Ninth Symphony for the first time, and he was so impressed that he decided to write a symphony of his own. His friend Robert Schumann, also a composer, urged him to work on the symphony, but Brahms was in no hurry. It wasn't until 8 years later, 6 years after Robert Schumann's death, that he completed the first movement and showed it to Robert Schumann's widow, Clara. Brahms often wrote musical sketches as they occurred to him, but often, after he had time to reflect on these sketches, he found that he did not like them, and he destroyed them. This is one of the reasons Brahms took so long to complete his first symphony. In fact, it took him 14 more years after he had finished the first movement to complete the entire symphony. That's a total of 22 years since Brahms began composing it in 1854. It had its first performance on November 4th, 1876, when Brahms was 43. Brahms conducted the second performance himself. In the United States, the first performance was in Boston, Massachusetts in January of 1878. Brahms loved Switzerland, and while visiting there, he heard a tune played by a shepherd on the Alpine horn. This may have influenced his use of the French horn in this symphony. And so they give you a couple of questions here on the sheet where they ask, after a brief introduction, can you tell what instrument states the first theme? And then also, soon after, you will hear a new melody played by the strings. And that melody is then played by the flute and the French horn. And it asks you to raise your hand when you hear those instruments come in. I'll let you decide whether you're going to raise your hand in class or not, but I would ask you to at least notice that. And as you listen to it, take a look at that timing portion at the bottom and see if you can kind of roughly follow along with it. All right? And otherwise, have a wonderful day. You will be doing the review on a separate sheet of paper and turning it in to Mr. Hill. So just take like a half sheet of your own paper, and you don't have to rewrite any answers or questions or anything like that. All you need to do is put like your name at the top and Brahms, and then put number 1 and then whatever the letter is, number 2, whatever the letter is, and I will pick those up later. Okay, have a good one.